especially when Otani bat wasn't even fucking working tonight.
Bad.
This shit was quiet.
Man, that was just that. That's when once they started coming back, I was like, "Yep, this about to be over with."
Yeah, yeah, crazy.
Mm-mm.
Highly pissed off. These niggas.
Mm-mm.
Sam, somebody gotta get fired. Aaron Boone gotta get fired like right now. Like Mike was saying, he gotta get fired like right after the press conference. You're
Mm-hmm.
fired, Aaron Boone.
Yep.
You gotta go. Cause you sit there and let that shit happen. They made way too many mistakes. In an elimination game, is no fucking way. They had like 4 or 5 mistakes in the game.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
It's like, how do you blow a 5 point
A 5-0 lead.
lead?
How do you blow a 5-0 lead against the
How,
Dodgers?
like, how do you do? Like,
It'd be
I'm
one thing if we were playing the Pirates. You know, God knows the Pirates ain't no fucking good. You
right,
if you blow up like a 5-0 lead against the Pirates, that's one thing. Not against the Dodgers.
right. Man,
Unbelievable.
that's
Here we are.
mm.
It's crazy, B.
I be feeling like this should be rigged and
You think
shit.
so? You think it's rigged? I don't. I
I
don't know.
don't know, man. Because
Mhm.
if you blowing a 5-nothing lead like that,
Mhm.
something happened like behind closed doors. I don't know, man. I feel like this some of this shit be rigged. I'm like, what? I'm
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
bro. I'm I don't even know what to say, man.
I,
This
I don't need it.
this out of all the World Series with the Yankees that I've seen, this is the worst one ever. I've never seen them be outplayed like that in any World
Right.
Series. You know what I'm saying? From '96 to now, I've never seen them in any worse. Even like the ones they lost when they lost to the Diamondbacks in '01, they could have came back and beaten the Diamondbacks because that went to a game 7.
Right.
When they played on the Marlins in '03, even though I felt like the Marlins for that season they just had a special team, you know, with Dontrell Willis and Miggy, they had a special team.
Hmm.
Even with that series, I felt like the Yankees could have won that. But this is the first World Series I've seen with the Yankees where they got overplayed in every fucking game, and they were still in the games in 1 and 2. They were
Right.
still in the games, and they just blew. They couldn't finish the Dodgers off in the extra innings. You know, game 3 was horrible. They played game 3 was just a bad game for them. But you know, they were back in. I felt like they woke up in game 4, even in this game. They were winning early on. How the fuck do you blow a 5-0 lead? They
Man,
made way too many mistakes, and Aaron Boone is the reason behind that. He let Garrett Cole stay way too long in that game. Way too
easily,
long.
easily.
You know what I'm saying? He got to go. Aaron Boone got to get fired right after the post conference. He got to go. They got to
Yep.
get a new manager, a new fresh blood in there because I thought he should have gotten fired last season.
Right.
When they went on that month-long losing streak, he had to go back then, and they kept him for whatever reason. Brian
Yeah,
Cashman kept him.
I was gonna say, like, man, if y'all went on a month of losing shit, I would have, man,
A
he
month,
he would have been
a month.
fired.
There was like a stretch where that they didn't win like a home game for like I think it was like a month or some crazy number last season. And back then I was like, yo, he gotta go. He gotta
Right.
go. You know what I'm saying? They kept coming up short against Houston. They kept losing to the Astros. And I felt like we had a better team than the Astros, especially when the Astros were sitting up there cheating and shit. We had a better team than the Astros, back then. And
Right.
they kept running into the Astros and losing. And I'm like, yo, like we saw the fucking Texas Rangers win the title last season. The Rangers, the Texas Rangers, the garbage ass Texas Rangers. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. Some they have to make a change, and I feel like the Yankees feel like they gotta always outbid everybody for the best player. Well, look what happened. We had the best players, and we still fucking lost.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all had Juan Soto, and we still fucking lost. You had Aaron Judge, it's gonna be the MVP, and we still fucking
Yep.
lost. So now you got to look back and look at the roster like, yo, is Aaron Judge worth all that money? Because he
Right.
coming up short in the postseason.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Otani is going to be the MVP for the National League, and he's a great player. And he was just hitting this season. He's not even pitching because he had the surgery or whatever, and he's not going to pitch till next season. But he earned his money. I don't know about Aaron Judge, even though he
Right.
played, he played decent in this game, but he kept coming up short in the postseason. It's like you got to look at his contract and like, yo, is he worth all that money that y'all paid him? Because if that's the case, he could have, he could have went to San Francisco. San Francisco wanted him.
Facts.
When he was a free agent, the Giants wanted him, and he chose to stay here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, some changes got to be made, and it got to start with the manager. Aaron Judge got to go. Aaron Boone got to go. He got to
Yeah.
go.
He got to.
It's time for a new manager. Ain't no
Yeah.
way.
Way
They
long
played, they
overdue.
played a bad series, especially this game, an elimination game at home, and they had like 5 errors. What the fuck, Yankees? Like, come
Right.
on, man. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Coach got to get fired. He got to get
you
fired
gotta
like
go.
now. Don't even go to the press conference.
Don't even
Start.
no. Do
No.
the press conference, and
Yeah.
then after the press conference, you fire him.
Shit.
Don't even let nobody know till tomorrow morning that, oh yeah, Aaron just got fired in the middle of the night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, he gotta go. It's time, man.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
You watch your welcome, and to have the Yankees be outplayed in this series, and then at home
Hmm.
where they had a 5-0 lead and they blow the fucking lead. Nah, he gotta go.
Exactly.
He gotta go. I'm sorry. It
Yep.
start with him, and then I'm gonna look at the roster and be like, yo, who else got to go? Because there's some
Yep.
others. It's like, if I felt like the whole lineup was waiting for Judge and for Stanton and for Soto to come up with the big hits when
That's
everybody else
crazy.
should be coming up with hits as well. When we
That's
had Jeter,
crazy.
when we had Bernie Williams, when we had Tino Martinez, everybody was contributing to those
Hmm.
things that they got back in the day.
In
You know what I'm saying?
fact.
Even when we had A Rod, as much shit as A Rod showed improve in 2009.
Facts.
That's why he's a GOAT. That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They wasn't waiting for A-Rod to make the big hit. Everybody was in that lineup was hitting.
Right.
Nah, man.
And the big hit and the big hitters can't make the big hit. Somebody got to step up.
Exactly.
You
Verdugo,
know.
he did his thing in game. Volpe, he did his thing in game 4, but they're not consistent though.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And the pitching hasn't been able to close out the games when they need to, and we saw that in
Yeah.
game 1 and in game 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they could not close it out here. That they let the Dodgers come back and tie up the damn game and then take the lead off of bonehead plays.
Exactly.
You know,
And they
yeah,
and they look tired as fuck already. I'm like, no, y'all ain't tired. It's
yeah.
like, hey, it's
How
like
you
if
tired?
you
They tired from what? From beating the Cleveland Indians? Come on, that shouldn't have been no challenge for them.
right, and see, it's like, hey, if y'all wanna, hey, y'all gotta wake up if y'all wanna. It's like they almost didn't they like they finally woke up. When was like yesterday,
Yeah, but
and it's like,
I don't want to say they woke up because they were in game 1 and game 2. They just couldn't finish. They
yeah,
couldn't
they
close
couldn't
out the
finish
win,
it.
and they let the Dodgers come back and win those games. But game 4, if because they were at home, I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like maybe they woke up. Even when
Yeah,
they early, like in this game, they jumped on the Dodgers early. But I'm like, yo, you can't blow a 5-0 lead against the Dodgers, man.
No, you
You know what I'm
can't.
saying? Like I said, like if you was playing a shitty team like the Pirates or the Rockies, that's one thing. But the
Hmm.
Dodgers in the World Series, you can't do that.
No.
And Aaron Boone didn't handle this game the right way. He got to go.
Yeah, you
I
got it.
think I think the city is fed up with him. I think Yankee brass and the Yankee community is fed up with him. He got to go. They got to get a new manager here,
Yeah,
and
they, they
they got to make some changes, not just with the lineup, but with
right.
the pitching rotation.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I'm saying? Because like their closers are not Mariano was the best closer ever. They don't
Right.
got no Mariano on that team.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he got to go. He got to
Yep.
definitely, definitely. You
Shit.
know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna still rock my fucking Yankee hat because we still got the most championships, and one fucking loss is not gonna change a damn thing. So enjoy it
That's
now,
true.
LA. Enjoy it now. I hope we see all motherfuckers next year. That would be great.
Right.
Or
Hmm.
hope the Mets. But one of these New York teams I want to see against the Dodgers, and I want the Dodgers to go down. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Hopefully, hope the Yankees got to make some changes though.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Goddess a kink. What's good, boo? Glad you made it. I gotta make Goddess a kink my one of my moderators. And I want you to ban people too, Goddess. Don't just have the damn gavel and think, okay, you're gonna be bragging about having a being a moderator. You know what I mean? But yeah, that game was just crazy, man.
Yeah, like after a while, like I'm like towards like the seventh, eighth inning, I'm like, yep, something's gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, this I even got bored. And it's like at this point, I didn't want to I don't want to see the trophy at this point. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
nope, nope, I'm good.
yeah. And it happened in '03. '03 when the Marlins when they won here. They won at
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium when they won that World Series title. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But even with that, like I said, like the Marlins had a good team that year. They just had a magical team. There was a lot of games that I watched them play, and
Yeah.
they just had it. So I wasn't surprised that they won. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I'm like, bro, like you got suppose this is Evan Judge. This is the dude you paid what like 400 million they paid to this nigga when the
Wow.
Giants won them last. You know, in free agency, we had Aaron Judge in his first ever World Series, and
Wow.
this is something he's gonna have to. This is gonna sting him through the winter. He's gonna be remembering this, and I hope they remember this shit because when the winter meetings come up in December, that's when they got to start making changes to this team.
Facts.
They got to, and it start with the manager. Fire Aaron Boone tomorrow, and then
Mhm.
look at the roster. Brian Cashman, look at the roster and see what changes need to be made.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because they had players on this team like what's his name? What's the dude name? The dude from the Cubs, the first baseman, forgot his name. He gotta go. He gotta go. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Volpe I like. I like Volpe. I think they could build around him.
Right.
Verdugo. You know what I'm saying? There's some of the young players, but the other cats, they gotta go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Their pitching is not is their pitching was good, but it wasn't good enough.
No, it wasn't.
And especially their closers. I don't like their closers. They need another closer.
They do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they sure do.
How much time you got?
Shoot. I could. I mean, we could get started. We could get started whenever you ready.
All
Because
right, let's go.
I mean, I'll be here for. I'll be here for a good minute. So
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna get started. This is like my damn. I don't even know how long it's been since I did a horror review. It's been a minute. Um, it seemed like forever, but we've been talking about doing this review. I finally got this movie on 4K thanks to Mike. Thank you again, bro. Appreciate it.
yep.
And we're gonna be doing the review for Bram Stoker's Dracula 1992, starring Gary Oldman as Count Dracula, and you had Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker, and You had Winona Ryder as Mina, and Sir Anthony Hopkins played an older version of Professor Van Helsing, the vampire hunter, and man, this movie was I loved it, man. Like it was epic. Everything about it, the set design, the costume designs, the makeup, great acting, great cast. The film score. You had even like the soundtrack, the song from the movie with Annie Lennox from the Rhythmics. You know, everything about it was just grand. I remember they were promoting this in 1992. I used to see like the movie posters in the subway. It got nominated for some Oscars for best costume design, best sound editing, best makeup, best art direction. It made 215.9 million on a $40 million budget. You know, it was a different Dracula movie that I've never seen before at that time. Even now when they make Dracula films, I think they're still inspired by this film, and people still trying to make a great Dracula film like this or try to top it, and they can't. You know,
Mhm.
um, but this was definitely my favorite Dracula film of all time. I've seen it so many times, and it was just a great film, and that when it comes to horror films, I think it's right up there with the best of them, The Exorcist and the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, The Howling, any classic horror film is right on that tier with those films. And Mike, if you could remember the first time you saw this, what did you think about it?
It's funny. I actually, man, this is actually my first time watching this movie.
Really, your first time ever? So you've
Yeah,
never seen this film
because
before?
I've never seen it before. That's one I kind of overlooked.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not into like like the night, like what do you call it, 18th century like type movies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Movies like that. I'm not really into it, but I mean, because it's Francis Ford
Uh-huh.
Coppola's, and you got a great cast too. You know what I mean? Winona Ryder, I
Yeah,
thought she was
yeah,
excellent there. Sir
definitely.
Anthony Hopkins, he's great as usual. Uh,
Hmm.
Gary Oldman, I think he gives one of his best performances. I think he's very underappreciated. I think he's still kind of underappreciated as an actor.
Right.
So is no Winona Ryder. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And I mean, I'm glad that Francis Ford he picked her to do this movie because I remember he originally wanted her for the Godfather Part 3, which I thought
Yeah.
she would have been very
He,
good, but
he was doing
instead,
Godfather Part 3 when Winona gave him the script for this movie.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that Godfather Part 3 was trash. I didn't like that film.
You know what? I'm the Godfather Part 3. I had problems with.
You know.
Honestly,
Uh,
I thought Al Pacino. I thought was the best thing, but at the same time, he couldn't save this movie. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Andy Garcia. I didn't care for him. He's a good actor. I've seen him in other films that he was better.
Right.
But he was not. I didn't like his character, nor I didn't like him in that movie.
Mm.
Talia Shire, she wasn't given nothing to do. I thought she was horrible in that
Yeah.
movie, and she
Reg was
was
good.
great in. Huh?
Now it's on the Reg. Reg is here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and she was great in Rocky.
Yes.
So, and then you have what's her name? Coppola.
Coppola.
I thought she
Yeah.
was trash. She was trash.
Oh wow.
And to me, she was horrible. And she was the worst thing in the movie. And when she got killed off, I literally died laughing because her acting, it was just one noted. And
She got
I
on the steps of the church.
right.
She got shot.
And
Yeah.
she got shot in the church. I was actually laughing and clapping the fact that I'm like, thank you. This is the
Right.
best part of the movie that her acting is just horrible. Great director though. But great director. I was like, okay, you stick good directing. You got your father's traits,
Right.
but acting is not your suit. I'm sorry.
Mm.
But Dracula, but back to Dracula though. Yeah, the cast was okay. My only gripe with this movie,
Mm.
I didn't believe Keanu Reeves. I okay.
You didn't believe him as Jonathan?
I didn't believe his acting. I was iffy. And okay, I don't want to say I have a love hate relationship with Keanu Reeves,
Mm.
but in some movies he's good in,
Right.
especially his earlier movies.
Mm.
Point Break, he was quite good. A movie he did, what was that in '87? A River's Edge. I thought he was strong.
I saw that.
A movie he did with River Phoenix called My Own Private Idaho. I think
Mm.
one of his best performances.
Mm.
This one, his accent, I was not really all at all convinced.
Right.
It was I kind of in the beginning I kind of laughed, but I kind of sort of I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give him a chance.
Mm.
I It's not the worst acting I've seen, but at the same time, like I'm like maybe if I don't know because I plan on rewatching this movie anyway.
Right.
Because it's Halloween and my horror movie marathon and stuff.
Mm.
But um, the story was just wow. Like the story was amazing,
Yeah.
and the fact that it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes, the running time.
Mm.
It was a movie like that. It was done right. It was
Right.
Dracula done right, and this is Francis Ford. This is kind of like Francis Ford. You know, it's kind of out of his element in a sense because I don't think he directed another horror movie. I don't think. I'm used to him playing, directing dramas and
Right.
epic, movies like The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
He directed The Outsiders, which that's another movie that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he hasn't done no horror since then. He did
no-
the Rainmaker, Jack,
yeah,
Megalopolis. His recent film that came out, which
Megalopolis.
bombed. You
Yeah.
know, that was a piece of shit. But he hasn't done no horror since this film. So
Yeah, and the fact that he took on a horror, and
mhm.
to me it wasn't just a horror. It was like a love. It was like a love, kind of like a love story, like a
Right.
romance. It was a mixture. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's the one thing I love about it is that it didn't always rely on the horror.
Right.
The story was beautifully written.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. The acting was top notch. I thought um, it should have got acting nominations.
I agree. I'm surprised it didn't. I'm surprised there was no nomination for Anthony Hopkins or Winona
Right.
Ryder,
Thank
Gary
you.
Oldman. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It got like
Yeah.
the secondary. It got like the secondary nominations, which best costume design is
Yes.
who's gonna
Yeah.
remember that? You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly. Like, oh, do you remember in 1992 who got nominated for best
right. Yeah.
costume?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
But yeah, especially Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, Gary Oldman. I mean, you talk about actor who he's very versatile. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm. Mhm.
Winona Ryder. I mean, she was still young back then. I thought she should have got major awards. She should have got Oscar nomination, and even Francis Ford should have got Best Director's consideration. But it's just so hard nominating, acting category in horrors. It's hard. Like Linda, I
Yeah,
mean, I get it. Linda
right,
Blair,
facts,
Linda
definitely.
Blair.
Yeah,
I think
and
she won for The Exorcist.
no, go ahead. I ain't mean to.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not, I hear what
Um,
you said just now.
yeah, I was gonna say that. Linda Blair. I think she won for The Exorcist, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
my
I think
favorite horror from all time, like ever.
so. It's hard to get
Hmm.
Oscar nominations in horror, and I think it needs more attention, in my opinion.
Right. And I could see why they did this film on a grand scale and made everything. The budget went into the costumes and the makeup and the set design. Gary Oldman had he hired a singing coach because he wanted to practice talking in a lower tone for Dracula.
Right.
And they Francis Ford Coppola, they wanted to make Dracula look different. They didn't want him to have the pale white skin or the widow's peak or the cape. He wanted Dracula to look different in this film, and that's what they did. Especially when you see like Gary Oldman dressed as old Dracula, with he got like the
Yeah.
bun and like he got like the red robe or whatever, and he's walking like an old man, and he got like the long fingernails. So they made
Right.
Dracula look very different in this film. And then when you see him when he goes back and he transforms into like young Dracula, to get Mina. He looked totally different. He had like the long hair and he got the colonial suits on and everything and the shades, and it was a different look for Dracula. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like he was like Superman, like he was Clark Kent when he was young, and then when it was time for him to turn into like a bat, he looked different from when he was in the suits and all that. You know what I mean? And the top hat and basically it's like the story, like not to make it easier for people, like if you haven't seen this is basically like Jonathan Harker. He goes to Dracula's castle. He was doing some work for him, and Dracula happened to see a picture of Mina, which Jonathan at that time he was Mina was his fiance because he was gonna marry her. And once Dracula saw the picture of Mina, he fell in love with her because it reminded him of his ex-wife or whatever, who had passed away. And so he takes it upon himself to search out for Mina and to fall in love with her by any means necessary. And he didn't care who she was with. He was determined to be with her. And that's what we see in this film. Is like not he not only was he like a blood sucking beast of the night, but he was also a romantic, and he was set out to get Jonathan's woman and to be with her and marry her, and that's like the meat and potatoes of the story. And then you got the other stuff with him as Dracula, and Professor Van Helsing comes to town to kill him. Dracula was taking out Mina's friends and family, and that's why they sent Van Helsing to try to stop him. And that's basically the story in a nutshell. There's a lot of other shit in the movie, but we'll be here forever just talking about it. But I thought it was a great romance horror that showed um Dracula's romantic side as well as his evil side. When he was not afraid of anybody. He had like the strength of like 1,000 men or whatever, and we saw that. So we saw him. If he got angry, we saw him get angry. We saw him, crying. And when he was crying, there was like a scene where Mina and Jonathan had got married, and Dracula knew about it, and he was crying. But his tears was not like regular human tears. His tears were like they were like purple. So he cried. He was crying like purple tears or whatever,
Right.
you know. And Just things like that, and I love the part. There's another scene where he had killed Mina's best friend, and he turned into like a wolf, and
Mhm.
it was like the imagery, like with the wolf waiting in like they had like a garden in the center of the house, and you see like how Mina's friend was like coming down the stairs, and she was dressed in like a red see-through like lace lingerie or something, and she's like walking around like this garden like maze, and to meet up with Dracula, and he basically killed her. Like he bit the shit out of her and and killed her, and he turned her into a vampire later on. But my thing is, and I always wondered when he kept Jonathan at the castle, like and he basically let Jonathan know, like, you're not leaving this castle ever. Like, you're my prisoner, and don't try to leave, because if you leave, I got vampire bitches that's gonna kill you, and dogs and all that. And he never even when Jonathan got bit by, like, he was being seduced by the vampire chicks, and he got bit, but he never turned into a vampire though.
No,
And I want to know, like, well, why he didn't turn into a vampire, but Mina's friend did.
that's a good question. That's the one part I didn't get either. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he get bit, but yet didn't
Yeah.
turn into a vampire?
And he managed to escape. Like, they was draining his blood for, like, it seemed like for weeks, and he
Right,
managed to escape Dracula's castle, and he went to like a nearby, you know, like shelter with some nuns, and they brought him, they nursed him back to health, where he could leave that and then get back to Mina, because she was worried about him, and she had written letters to him, and it wasn't he wasn't the one responding to the letters. It was actually Dracula that was writing the letters for him.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so he was being drained of his blood. I'm like, but he never turned into a vampire. It was it
No,
was it was Mina's friend. I forgot the friend's name. I think her name was Abby or something. She got turned into a vampire, and when at the end of the film, Mina actually turned into what she was experiencing, vampire like traits or whatever, because she was starting to turn
right,
as well. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And Professor Van Helsing had to make sure before the sun go down that he killed Dracula, so that Mina wouldn't turn into creature of the living night or whatever.
right.
And I thought the music score was great.
It was.
Especially for when you had, like, towards the end, like the last 10 15 minutes, when they're like on a hunt on horseback, chasing after Dracula and Mina, because Mina had linked up with him again. But once he had that connection mentally with Mina, she knew where he was going and how he was feeling, so she had that mental connection with him. So they were on a hunt and chasing Dracula before the sun go down to kill him, and that whole scene with the score was phenomenal.
Yeah,
And the costumes, the different. I feel like the women wore less. They like she and her friend wore very little in that film. Like at least with the night scenes when they were at the castle, and the even the costumes for Gary Oldman playing Dracula. Like I said, like when he was old Dracula, there was like a certain attire that he wore, and then when he was young Dracula, he was wearing suits and top hats, and he had the sunglasses, and he walking with the cane, and I like the costume for those characters, and the set designs. Every set, it seemed like every place they went, it was really really dark. It was really dingy. You know, I just feel like they really spent money. You could tell when you watch a movie that they spent money on the film. You know what I'm
they
saying? It
did.
just had that look like, like they spent a lot of money on everything for
Yeah,
that film. Even the cinematography was great. You
yeah. The
know,
cinematography was beautiful.
right? You know, when they had like it would be like a shot when Dracula would kill somebody when somebody was about to get killed, like they would like do that real close up look.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was like a fast moving type of close up look, so you could see like where they're getting bit at, and I like that part of the film, and I think like just that the cast, like Anthony Hopkins really, once he came into the fold, I think he really took over the movie, and it was about Van Helsing, the great vampire hunter, going after Dracula and ending them. And it's like once he came in, it's like everybody just followed suit, just followed his lead, and Gary Oldman was great as Dracula.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoyed his the way that he moved as Dracula, the old and new, the way that he spoke. Um, Winona Ryder, her playing Mina, and how she was. You see how she was torn between two men. Like
Mhm.
Jonathan was like the man that she was gonna marry, and once Dracula came into her life, it was like she completely forgot about Jonathan, and she made this. Like, she was infatuated with Dracula,
Yeah.
and every her whole being was about being with Dracula, and she didn't care if she knew at some point he had told her like I'm Dracula, I'm the one that men fear, I'm the one that killed your best friend, and she was pissed off, but she still wanted to be with him, and that's the type of power that he had over
Right.
Mina, and just he took like different forms, like even like they so Anthony Hopkins, like he was narrating certain parts of the film and talking about how Dracula could appear as mist, he could appear as a bat, or a young man or an older man, and we saw different forms of Dracula in this film, and I thought that's something that I haven't seen in a Dracula film before, and I thought it was brilliant of Francis Ford Coppola to do that, and just the whole lore and the backstory with Dracula, being casted from denounced from heaven, and he was a soldier, and he was damned and cursed, and he became a blood sucking creature of the night, and just the whole backstory is a lot. There's a lot of backstory dealing with that and religion, and I thought that was great as well, and you know
Yeah.
uh, just a all around great film, and you know to think that Francis Ford Coppola was doing Godfather 3 while this script was given to him, and he could have said no, I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then, and I felt like he knocked it out the park with this film compared to Godfather 3. You know, and and
Godfather 3. Ugh.
yeah, and maybe that's why. Maybe at that point, while he was doing Godfather 3, and his eyes lit up when he saw the script for this, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to turn all my attention to this film and to hell with Godfather 3." Because we saw that I didn't like Godfather 3 at all. I thought it wasn't needed. Especially after part two. Part two, a lot of people like. I didn't care for that whole backstory with Vito and all that in
Right.
Godfather Part 2. So he might have already been like, "Fuck it, it's gonna come out how it come out." And if they like it, they like it. But I'm going to turn all my attention on Dracula, and I think he did a classic Dracula film with this, and everything about it was great. Now, also, I wanted to mention the role of Jonathan Hawker was not it wasn't offered to Keanu Reeves first. It was actually offered to Kristen Slater, and he turned it down.
Wow.
Yes, he turned it down, and now he regretted because after the success that he did, he regret turning it down. And I don't know. I like Kristen Slater. I don't know if I could see him as Jonathan Hawker. You know what I'm saying? I think Keanu. I mean, you said you didn't like Keanu Reeves as Jonathan. I thought for this film, Keanu Reeves played the back. He wasn't his character really wasn't important to the film.
Right.
Like Anthony Hopkins playing Van Helsing, and Gary
Mhm.
Oldman as Dracula, and Winona Ryder as Mina. I think it was like he could have had a bigger role, but I feel like I don't know if maybe they didn't really know what to do with Jonathan. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I felt like he should have been the one really to kill Dracula,
Right.
and he didn't. He wasn't the one to kill him. It really when you look at it, his character was made to be to it was really weak.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
just from the moment of him being at the castle and then being, Dracula's prisoner and then escaping, and then
Right.
when once he finally linked back up with Mina, he had gray hair already. I'm like, how the hell does he have gray hair? Like, we just saw this dude at Dracula's castle. He got gray hair already. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that. I'm like, well, what did he go? Was he stressed out or something? What did he go through that he had gray hair? You know what I'm saying? And him getting back with Mina, and then Mina was already infatuated with Dracula. They made Jonathan's character look like a simp in this film.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? Like he played a really weak role, and I think maybe that's why people don't care for his portrayal of Jonathan Hawker in this film. But that's I mean, Keanu Reeves was a great actor. I just felt like he
Mm,
wasn't uh he wasn't a standout character in this film for me.
no.
You know what I'm saying? I think, like I said, it was the three main characters was Van Helsing, Mina, and Dracula, and those three characters made this film a classic.
Yeah. I kind of want to
Mhm.
I kind of want to you said Christian Slater was the first
Yes, he
choice.
was he was offered the role and he turned it down.
Wait. Oh, he turned it down. He must have turned it down because he was in a movie called Cuffs back in '92.
I don't
Oh boy.
remember it.
Well, it's kind of a uh it's kind of like a knockoff of Beverly Hills Cop.
Mhm.
Just yeah, put it to you that way.
Right,
Um, Christian Slater. You know what? I don't know. Like I don't. I don't see it.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't see him playing
no.
that. I don't. He I mean, he was great in movies like Heathers and Pump Up the Volume, and
Mhm.
he was also too an up and come at the time.
Right.
But it's just I don't know. Like I don't see it. Like Keanu Reeves on the other hand, like it's just his accent. I didn't
That and
really
and
buy.
I'm glad you brought that up. That the accent, he actually worked on the accent.
Mm,
Coppola said like he worked hard on his accent in the
yeah.
film, and he said he tried so hard, that was the problem. Actually, he wanted to do it perfectly, and in trying to do it perfectly, it came off as stilted. I tried to get him to
Yeah.
relax with it and not to do it so fastidiously. So maybe I wasn't as critical of him, but that's because I liked him personally so much. To this day, he's a prince in my eyes. So he worked on his accent, but I get Francis Ford Coppola saying that he tried too hard with the accent.
Yeah, I could. In some parts of the movie, I could tell.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like I said, Keanu Reeves, I think as an actor, like as a dramatic actor, I think he's
Hmm.
very underrated. He was
Hmm.
underrated back when he first started. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, but yeah, if he didn't try too hard, he would have nailed it. I think perfectly.
Hmm. And
You
and
know,
they
but
and they wanted Keanu because at that time he was considered as a Hollywood heartthrob or whatever. The girls would always follow him to the airport and all that. So
I could
that's why
see
he got the
that.
role, because
Yeah.
they wanted Kristen Slater as like a what they call a matinee idol. They wanted Kristen
Yeah.
Slater for the role, but he turned it down, and they got the next best thing, which was, oh well, if we put Keanu Reeves in it, did they remember him from Point Break and Bill and
Right.
Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Which that was a
He would
good
be perfect,
movie.
and the girls would love him. So that's
Yeah.
really, I believe, why he got the role.
Yeah. And Keanu Reeves, he's not a bad actor.
Right,
He plays so many good movies like Speed and
right,
um, John Wick and Bill and Ted Excellent
yeah.
Adventure, one of my favorite movies from him.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I love the
you
first one.
know,
The second
yeah,
one was yeah. I
it,
don't, I
it
still don't care for the
well,
second one and how they did it.
Right.
But the third one was okay. It was like a homage to like George Carlin, and then the first two.
Yeah.
But the first one will always be the best one.
Yeah. And the one thing I love about Keanu Reeves, I love his personality. One of the nicest people in Hollywood.
Yes.
And I love his personality. I love his personality.
Hmm.
And I'm glad he's still making movies today and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
you know how Hollywood is. They lean into so busy with trying to get actors actresses like
Mhm.
Jenna Ortega,
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney's, and
Mhm. Yeah.
the Glenn Powells and all them. Like some of
Mhm.
them can't act. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And if they was to do a Dracula today,
Mhm.
I will tell you now, it would not be as great as this one.
Yeah.
If they was to ever do a an adaptation of Dracula, I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. I can't see it.
There was a point where they had rumors, going around that they were trying to do a sequel for this, and I always
Mm-mm.
wondered how they would do a sequel if Dracula is gone, and Mina. I'm assuming Mina, her vampire um tendencies died when Dracula got killed. But
Right.
how would they do a sequel?
That's a
You know,
good question.
you know what I'm saying? So unless she was pregnant by Dracula, and we didn't find out if she was. I know she did sleep with Dracula, but unless she was pregnant with his kid, I don't know how they would do a sequel. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know.
And maybe that's why they never did the sequel, because it wouldn't make sense. You
I'm
know,
kind. I'm glad they didn't.
yeah. You know what I mean? Because you don't just do the sequel just to do it. Like, it had to be a reason why you're going back to this story, and doing another one. You know what I mean? And thank God they haven't rebooted. I don't want them to ever touch it. It's a classic, Dracula film, and it doesn't need a reboot. You know, so I'm content with just one. I don't think they need to do a sequel or
No.
a reboot for it. They've like I said, they've been other Dracula films. Dracula 2000 with Gerard Butler was trash. Never liked that
Oh.
film.
Oh God.
Um, they did what's the other one? When Universal was doing that whole MonsterVerse, they had like the Dracula film, then they
It,
had the Wolfman. They were supposed to do a
mm,
Frankenstein film, it never happened.
right.
That didn't do well. You know, I know they have another Wolfman film coming out in January.
Really?
Yeah, there's another one
Oh.
coming out. The
Oh.
trailer's out already, but hopefully they're not trying to do that MonsterVerse shit. Like they tried to do what Marvel was doing with the MCU, and you know what I'm saying. It's like Marvel could do that. Everybody's like
Right.
Marvel. That's why that shit didn't work with Star Wars. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because Star Wars tried to do that too. Like, oh, let's make the shows on streaming and connect it to the movies. You can't. It's not the same.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, so hopefully they're not trying to do that whole MonsterVerse shit again. I don't think they need another Wolfman film, but there's one coming out in January. And for this film, they had delays when it comes to the cost of they had overruns with the cost of it, and the locations of where they were filming. And Francis Ford Coppola wanted to film on the soundstage, avoiding potential troubles with inclement weather.
Yeah.
And they also talked about back in the day, when it came to like the women's clothing, and how they were, just talking about, there was he made the women dress sexual for a reason, because
Right.
back then, I don't think it was allowed for women to dress like that, and show skin, and back in the 1800s, and they had to repress their sexuality. So everything about women in that era, the way those corsets forced them to move, was indicative of repression. So basically wanted them to show that side of the women that they were dressing provocative, and that's why you saw Mina and her friend dressed like that at night, with the provocative lingerie and all that. Yeah, and a lot of the critics first saw the film. They said the film was odd. It was too violent, and it was just strange. And they were calling it the Bonfire of the Vampires. Remember that film, Bonfire of the Vanities, with
You
your
said
boy Bruce
bonfire.
Willis,
What? Oh, you talking about what was it
of the
called?
Vanities. You ever saw that film?
You talking about the one with that came out in
Bonfire
1990?
of the Vanities.
Yeah, yeah. That was a I don't know what to think
Yeah, it
about
was
that
it was
movie.
Bruce Willis and uh Demi Moore. I think Demi Moore was in there, right? I think it was Demi Moore and Melanie Griffin. And that was a terrible film. And so they basically was called they were comparing this film to that film. They were calling it
oh,
Bonfire of the Vampires. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
no.
Because that was the initial release. That was the initial reaction from the critics that saw the movie early before it came out. Like they
No.
were panning it, and as somehow when it came out, everybody loved it. So I don't know what happened between the early screenings and when the movie hit the theaters, but they totally changed their review once it came out.
Mm,
Maybe Francis Ford was editing the film or something.
right.
You know, um, but that's what happened. They were panning it before it came out, and um, I don't see the correlation between that film and this film. I think it's two different films. I think this one was way
Mm,
better than that terrible Bruce Willis film back in the day.
mm, yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
um, so do you have any favorite scene or least favorite scene? Something that a scene that you didn't like?
Um, Let me see. I don't. I can't say that it's a scene that I didn't like because I liked every scene. Like the whole movie itself was just well. The one thing that was
Yeah.
kind of like strange was
Uh-huh.
I call it the orgy scene where I call it the orgy scene like
I
where
know you're talking.
yeah, huh.
I know you're talking about. You talking about the scene with Jonathan and the vampire chicks?
Jonathan and the Vampires, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that one, I'm looking. I'm like, what? Wait, what? What the hell is going on? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, so. I'm like, is he getting bitten, or is he like, like? I'm like, whoa, okay, like, alrighty there. That was kind of that threw me off guard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. That was one of those scenes that really like it really threw me off guard. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was one crazy scene.
But yeah, again, but that he was made prisoner at the castle, and Dracula had his vampire bitches drain Jonathan's blood.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't kill him. Like that part I didn't understand. I thought for sure Dracula would have killed him. He didn't kill him. And he didn't turn into a vampire that we know of. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but when he slept with Mina, she started turning into a vampire.
Exactly.
So I don't understand it. Maybe you can only turn into a vampire from Dracula and not his women.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, unless he must have had some sort of special I don't know. Like I didn't
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
But yeah.
Then I love the scene when Mina's friend gets killed. I gotta look up her name because I'm saying Mina's friend and I forgot her name, and I want to say it was Abby. I think her name was Abby, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Um, oh, Lucy, my bad. It was Lucy. Lucy was her friend that got killed by Dracula. I like the scene when Lucy got killed and they buried Lucy and they think Lucy's husband thinks that she's dead and gone. Van Helsing is telling them like, yo, we gotta go and cut off her head and properly kill her and put a stake through her heart because she's a creature of the night now. She's gonna rise again. And he didn't
Yeah.
believe him. He didn't believe him when they when they
Mhm.
when they actually went to kill Lucy. And there's like like an underground mausoleum or something where her coffin was. They look in the coffin and she's not there, and she comes down the stairs and put the lights on. She lit the candles. There was candles there. She lit the candles, and she's coming downstairs with a baby. And that's when I think her husband realized that, oh shit, like Van Helsing was right. She's a creature of the night. We got to kill her, even though he didn't want to. That's his wife. But that scene, that was like one of my favorite scenes, like when they had to like actually cut off her head and put a stake through her heart. I love the way that they did that scene. You know,
Right.
there's so many, like I said, like the whole movie was just great. I love like every scene. The first time that we see young Dracula back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And he's looking all debonair and sharp with the suit on and the top hat and the shades, and he sees Mina, and he bumps into Mina on purpose to get directions. I think he was going somewhere.
Hmm.
He bumped into her on purpose so that he can actually talk to her and have a conversation with her. And that's really what set it off with both of them. Like once he bumped into her and asked her for directions, she helped
Right.
him out, and that's when their love affair began. And I like that first scene
Y-
of when he first locks eyes on Mina.
Yeah, I knew that they were gonna I knew like something was gonna happen between them two. It was just like from that first scene
Hmm.
too, and it's like you could tell like the chemistry
Right.
between them two is just flawless.
Right.
You
And
know
he
what I
and he did it
mean?
so smooth. He did it like such a G. Like
Oh,
he didn't walk up to her and ask for
easily.
her number. He was like, allow me to introduce myself to you, and takes off the hat, and he was just so smooth with it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
She couldn't say no. You know what I'm saying? It was just something different about him, his approach to her that's what got her.
Right.
And she comes to find out later that this nigga is a creature of the night and he killed your friend Lucy, and he had Jonathan as a prisoner, getting his blood drained by a bunch of vampire bitches, and she didn't care. She was like, I'm in love with this man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And hey, people do strange shit for love, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's true. I
you know,
mean, if that's a type of fetish, then I
right.
mean,
If they really love you, they'll look past oh, you're a vampire? It don't matter. I still love you.
right, right. I guess you got to
So
know
what if you
about it.
kill?
Yeah.
What if you kill my best friend and you had my fiance to be drained of blood like a castle with a
I
bunch
guess
of vampire bitches?
she wanted her
Uh-huh.
cake and eat it too. I guess.
Yeah, I could look past that. Oh, you thought you turned into a bat and vapor mist? I could look past that. That's good for me.
Right.
I love you anyway.
Oh
So
man.
she was madly in love with him at this point. She could kill. He could do no wrong. He could
Exactly.
have basically stand there and tell Mina, look, listen, Mina, I'm the devil incarnate, and you are going to marry me, and I'm going to impregnate you, and you're going to have demon babies. And should have been like, take me, Dracula. I'm all
It,
yours.
bingo.
You know what I'm saying? So, that I feel like at some point she was under his spell, and she was so deep like under his spell that there was no way to get her back. And I think if
No.
it wasn't for Van Helsing and the crew of hunters to kill Dracula before sundown, they would have lost her forever. So they had to kill him. They had to kill him.
Exactly.
If they didn't kill him, she would have been Mrs. Dracula. They would have had vampire
Hmm.
babies, and it would have been hell for the
Exactly.
world.
Yep, I
You know what I
agree.
mean? So that's why it's just such a great love story of newfound love and loss. And
Yeah.
loss comes from Jonathan, weak ass Jonathan losing the love of his life too. Uh,
Right.
and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He should have been the one to kill him.
Exactly. But we
You know what
didn't
I'm saying?
get that. He
Yeah,
didn't do it.
instead it was somebody else, one of them cowboy hunters that like he put like a knife in through Dracula, and then he ended up getting
Exactly.
killed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, why not? Jonathan? Why not Jonathan, the one that got his the love of his life stolen from the creature of the night? Why not have him kill Dracula? Nope. They said we're gonna have
Exactly.
some cowboy hunter do it.
Exactly.
I didn't understand that. But if I had voted,
No.
it would have been Jonathan killing him or Van Helsing killing him.
Right.
The same way Van
Exactly.
Helsing beheaded Lucy, I would have had Van Helsing behead Dracula.
Yeah. Bingo.
So that's just me. But even with all of that, still a classic movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
I give it 9.5 out of 10 stars.
Nice. So
Yeah, because the cinematography, the story, and I like the fact that they touched on Dracula's backstory too.
right,
That's most important.
definitely.
The performances were strong.
Hmm.
One of the best movies of '92,
Definitely.
and Francis Ford. He did such a terrific job. You could tell that he was passionate about the project.
Yep.
He just said "fuck Godfather 3" at this point. He said "fuck
Yeah.
this." So
He said, "Fuck that.
we gonna
I'm,
we
I'm
gonna make
focused on
this
this now."
exactly. It's like we're
Because
gonna make this how
they
it is.
literally said like when Winona Ryder was the one that brought the script to him while he was doing Godfather 3, and once he saw the script, his eyes lit up. So he was already invested in this while he was doing
Mm-hmm.
Godfather 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't.
So,
He gave us. It's a way better film than Godfather 3. I'll tell you
oh
that.
god, oh,
I've
it,
seen this movie at least 100 times compared to Godfather 3. I saw like maybe twice. You know what I
and
mean?
people.
So
And you know what? People, and I get it. People like Godfather Part 3, but me, I'm like, oh God, no. I would have changed everything around, or better yet,
right,
not have a 3. I
right.
mean, it just didn't. To me, it was Godfather Part 3. To me, it was just a cash grab at this point.
Yeah, and the thing was that came out in what 1990.
Yeah, 90.
So it was like a turn of you have like you're going into a new decade where
Right.
music and the movies were changing, and
Yes.
you're doing a third Godfather. I don't think people in the 90s cared about that at that point.
It didn't hold up so good to
Yeah,
me.
it didn't.
You
You know
know,
what I'm saying?
like
It was like, and I had my issues with the trilogy from part two. I just felt like they were doing Vito's backstory. I'm like, why are you all doing this for part two? We should have had this in part
right,
one.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
But we didn't get that, and that's why I feel like part one is the best one in that trilogy.
I
I don't feel
agree.
like they should have did Vito's backstory in part two, and they jump
Yeah.
in different times and timelines and all that, and then we get to part three, and Michael Corleone is like a grandfather now. I'm like, come on, he's still a gangster. He's still a
Lord,
gangster. And he got grandkids now.
Lord,
You know what I
growing
mean?
gray hairs and stuff
Yeah,
like
and,
that.
and the whole thing with the church, and I'm like, come on, man. I
Yeah,
just I don't see like that's not a good trilogy to me. I think part one was the best. His eyes had literally lit up when Winona Ryder gave him the script for this, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm
hmm
putting all my attention and focus and resources into this film." And the hell with
he
Godfather 3. And
he
that's what he
he.
did. And that's why it's a classic movie because he was more
Yeah,
focused
he.
on this than Godfather 3.
See, I
And
he.
I wanted to also mention no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you could tell Francis Ford Coppola he tapped
Yeah.
out in Godfather 3. You could just tell the production alone,
Oh
the
yeah,
acting alone. They
definitely.
are.
Yeah,
I think they all tapped out. They're just like, I don't want to do this film. Let's get this film over with.
yeah, definitely. And what wasn't there like a director's cut for that film or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was a director's cut. I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was a
There
director's
was some. There
cut.
was something. I remember hearing something about there was like another version of that film.
Yeah, which at this point I didn't even care about the other version either. That
Yeah,
was
I
no.
ain't I ain't watching. I could kill that. So, you know,
The one,
I wanted
the original version was bad enough.
I wanted to also mention we had Carrie Ells was in this film. He played Arthur. Facts,
He's a good
facts. We had
actor.
Carrie Ells was in this film. He played Arthur. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had Billy Campbell played Quincy.
Yeah.
I think Quincy was with Lucy. I think he was with Lucy, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Um, you had Monica Bellucci. She was one of the vampire chicks at the castle,
She's
and
pretty good.
yeah, she's done like a lot of foreign films. She was also in The Matrix,
Yeah.
Reloaded. She was in
Yeah.
that. Um, yeah, and you had Richard E. Grant. He played Jack.
Yeah.
You know, Sadie Frost played Lucy. You know, so that was like the whole cast. Jay Robinson played Mr. Hawkins. You
Hmm.
had Tom Waits played Renfield. Renfield, we only saw Renfield in prison. We didn't see him out and about like we usually see like Renfield or whatever.
Right.
He was in prison and he was trying to, tell people about Dracula and that he was coming, and they thought he was a nut job or whatever, and they didn't
Right.
believe him. You know what I'm saying? And then he ended up getting his neck broken by Dracula. Dracula felt like he betrayed him. He's like, Renfield, you betrayed me, and then he pushed him through the prison bars, and he broke his neck. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think I think they misused Renfield also in this film.
Right.
Jonathan and Renfield was misused in this film. You
Yeah.
know, I would have liked to see more from Renfield. And I would have liked to see Jonathan just have some balls and step up to Dracula, because if it wasn't him that stepped up to Dracula, it was Van Helsing that stepped up to him. You know,
Hmm.
but this movie, I'm giving this a 10 all around. Like I said, I think it's top tier. One of the best horror films all time, the best Dracula film all time, in my opinion. Now, I do
Yeah.
love Dracula '79 with Frank Langella. That was a
Hmm.
good one. That's another Dracula film I have on. I think I got it on Blu-ray. I think Eric has sent me that. Shout out to Eric.
Oh wow.
He has sent me that. I do want to review that, but that'll probably be next Halloween. I'll do that one.
For sure.
Um, but that one is a classic. I used to watch that all the time on like Monster Fest when TNT had the Monster Fest every Halloween, the Halloween marathon and all that. I
Hmm.
think they call it Fair Fest now or whatever. AMC, they have Fair
Yeah.
Fest, and they show like the classic Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Trick or Treat, all that stuff. So that's one that I grew up on watching, like back in the '90s on cable, and I'm
Hmm.
glad to have it now in my collection. And for the 4K for Dracula, do you have this on 4K or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so on the 4K they have a lot of good features. They got the interviews with Francis Ford Coppola and Roman
Hmm.
Coppola. They have deleted and extended scenes and a whole bunch of stuff. And I think it's a great, like I said, it's a great film for all the 4K fans. Get it on 4K. It looks stunning on 4K. I watched it. It's great. The sound is great. You know, um, it has a lot of great features for people. I love the extras and all that, and definitely a 10 all around for me, top tier. And the
Yeah.
anniversary is coming up. It's actually going to be November 13th that it was released in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that we finally got to do this Halloween review of
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you haven't watched it, check it out. It's on streaming. Definitely,
Hmm.
I think a lot of people will enjoy it. It is a long movie. It's 120 minutes long, but I think it's worth it. I think I don't see how they could have made an epic film like this and for it to just be like maybe an hour and like 30 something minutes. I think it had to be over 2 hours long, and every scene was great. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely worth it. And thanks Mike for doing this.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem. All
before we leave, tell them what you got coming up.
right. So what I got coming up, let me see. If I can, I'm gonna try to sneak in a um movie reviews later on today. If it depends on
Right,
time and everything. Because
right.
typically, for those who know me, I'm a big horror fan, and today is my national holiday, which is Halloween.
Yes.
So usually, what I do is watch, you know, horror horror movies. Definitely, I'm gonna watch. first Halloween. I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to watch American Werewolf in London. I have yet
Ooh.
to see that one.
That was the remake, right?
I think
Was it
so. It came out
97 or something?
81.
80. Oh, you mean the original from American Werewolf
Yeah,
in
the
London?
original film. Yeah, American
Yes,
Werewolf in London.
classic,
Yeah,
classic.
yeah. I saw the trailer of it. I'm like, oh, this looks good. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
I
made
have that on 4K as well too. Um, what else? I possibly gonna be doing like a Barnes and Noble out and about trip
nice. Some
and
pickup
stuff.
there.
Uh I don't know if I'm going to be picking up anything
Mhm.
because I am kind of sort of if I am going to pick up something, it's going to be
Yeah,
something minor only because I'm trying to save up enough money because for those of you who know, I'm moving out of Michigan.
yeah,
So I'm not trying to really spend too much money. So any Walmart out and about
mm,
may or may not be on hold. And if I do one, then I may not. I just may show off what's coming out that Tuesday, and then
right.
probably not buy anything. So I'm gonna try to produce, more movie reviews and maybe an album review of some sort
Nice,
before I might. I'm considering. I might do a double review on Michael Jackson's Thriller and Living Off the Wall.
nice, nice.
I'm thinking about doing that. So
Got
if you want to come on,
Oh
if you
yeah,
guys want to come
for
on,
sure, for sure. And
so
I'm gonna just take out my 4 copies of Thriller and just show it.
right.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Thriller to me is the best album of all time. I gotta give you for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know? I don't know how people love Off the Wall, and now in this day and age, you hear people say, "Oh, I think Off the Wall is better." We wasn't hearing that in the '80s. Nobody said Off the Wall was
No.
better.
And it was
You know
two
what I
and it
mean?
was two different times.
Yeah,
You
you know,
know, I mean
Off the Wall was like more like the end of the disco era. You know what I'm
disco
saying?
era,
And
right.
then when Thriller came out in '82, that changed music forever. Like
It
in
did. It changed the
R&B and
game.
pop, everywhere, every genre, it changed music forever. That's how
It did.
the album that is, and they're
Yeah.
still trying to copy that sound and style today in today's music. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But that's the album that made Michael Jackson an icon. It was still
Yes.
Off the Wall.
It
Off
was
the Wall
totally.
was a great album, but that was a
Yeah.
great end of the disco era album. You know what I'm
Yeah, it was.
saying? Thriller is the album that made him an icon.
Oh, easily.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't bad. It wasn't dangerous. It was Thriller. That's why it's
Right.
the best album all time. And for Michael to even do like what was it like 900 songs he did for that album or
Yeah.
some crazy shit. Reg told me, and he picked out 9 songs. That's like one in a million.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I
So
agree.
yeah, like I'll definitely be there for that.
Yeah.
You
So
know, and
yeah. Yeah. I don't know what day. I'm gonna try maybe I'm gonna try for next week. I'm gonna try for it.
okay, cool.
So I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, our Barnes and Nobles here, all we got is like they sell comic books, they sell books, they might sell like maybe some pop figures. They don't sell nothing else like no vinyl and or 4Ks and nothing like that over here.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's very different. It's more like they focus more on books at the Barnes and Nobles
Wow.
here than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I got for November. I got some stuff coming up. Um, I'm gonna do more comic book stuff with the homie Darrell D. Gonna bring him back. So, are you into comics or no?
You know what? I never collected comics,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I'm a I I keep my options open. So I
Yeah.
mean, comics. I mean, I don't mind them. I just
I mean,
never
not
was
just
a
comics, but it's
collector.
gonna be like graphic novels, stuff like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it'd be like once a month, maybe twice a month. I guess there's a comic book and community out there. There's a lot of them are hip hop heads like us. So I
Yeah.
want to actually bring them on the show. I got the homie Jay from Harrison Hero Talk. He's big into
Yeah.
comics, and to bring him on. We've been talking about doing a live for a long time, and we just haven't done it. But definitely, I'm gonna try to bring him on Saturday. If
Hmm.
not next week, for November, and just gonna be a lot of different segments and stuff that I do on here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to get away from the music shit because I'll do music every week with Reg. I'm like, how much more music reviews y'all want to see me do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit gets kind of boring to me. I want to discuss other shit that I like.
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear you.
When I do sports live streams we like me and the homie Rock and Bass talk about sports, nobody shows up. They always show that
Yeah.
they look at the playback, but they're not actually in the chat when we go live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I got to move on to other shit that I like.
Yeah. I don't
You know
blame
what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
This is not a
I
music
might.
channel.
Yeah. I might start talking. Well, I just posted like a post game react not like a yeah kind of like a reaction to the Lions game. I
Oh yeah,
had that
that,
I think I posted it like 2 weeks ago or something.
mhm,
So I'm trying to get into like
mhm.
more sports, and then um I'm a big cologne collector
Hello,
too. So
nice,
yes.
nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
got into that. So I might start talking about that too.
Oh yeah,
So I
I've
don't
seen content creators on YouTube that's in they discuss like the newest cologne pickups they got. There's a dude
yeah.
named Mr. Wavy.
Hmm.
He's from the Bronx and he's a big sneakerhead, but he also collects cologne and he always does like his newest put pickups when it comes to cologne and just
Yeah.
putting people on about newest fragrances and stuff. So I fuck with him. So
Hmm.
that definitely yeah, I can see you doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. And yeah, man. So this was great. Like I said, happy Halloween. Be safe out there.
Happy Halloween.
I might go to we having a Halloween parade here in the city. I might go to that. I
Hmm.
know it start at 7. I'm trying to see, who's down to go with us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I might pull through to that. I never went to the Halloween parade. I've always seen it on TV, but I actually want to go.
Yeah.
It's 80 degrees today. It's gonna be nice. And we haven't had 80 degrees in October in a long time. So I want
Oh
to
man,
definitely
y'all lucky. Yeah, it's
yeah,
supposed to
you know what I'm
rain
saying?
here.
It's gonna be kind of humid out there for October.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I want to take advantage of that. Maybe I could get some pictures, some video, and post it. You know what I'm saying? So
for
I'll see.
sure.
You know what I mean? And just be safe out there with the parties and when you take
Yes.
the kids to trick or treating and all that. Just be safe out there.
Yes, definitely.
You know. So thank you once again, Mike.
Yeah, you
Appreciate
up.
it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. If you've seen Dracula, tell me what you think. Is it a classic? Is it not a classic? Let me know your favorite Halloween film. And
Yes.
we out. Peace.
Peace.